Qamar, come in. Next few minutes to you. Why we'll try to go to a political analyst again for one last remark. Break this down for us. First point. Do you agree with what the committee has said? The committee, and this is very important because this is an expert committee. This is a committee from Maharashtra. Committee is saying NEP is unscientific. Committee is saying a third language from classes 1 to 5 is going to create unnecessary pressure on children from 1 to 5. Break this down for us as an expert. How do you look at this?
Neha, in a few writings and programs, I have said that this national education policy is a combination of good, bad, and ugly. There are many good things, but the ugliest part of the policy is that is being always read with the political lens and according to convenience of people. This national education policy nowhere said that Hindi must be taught. In fact, the word languages has been mentioned in this policy document 227 times. Word Hindi has been used only once. One mention only at one page. And just to give you a glimpse, this policy very clearly said that the 3 languages learned by children will be the choice of the states, the region, and of course the students themselves, so long as at least 2 of the 3 languages are native Indian languages. In fact, the ultimate decision maker here is the student. Give a student a choice. Why state after states are taking decisions to impose Hindi is that they want to save money. They don't want to invest in teachers of different languages, and therefore they want an easy way out. They are forgetting one of the spirit of the national
You're
education.
right, because Maharashtra government has said that on record. Fadnavis has said that on record.
So, you have to invest in education. In fact, the policy itself said that enough investment would be made in teaching of different Indian languages. I think there is another issue that is going to come later because the policy itself mentions that if one language is to be taught compulsorily, that is Sanskrit. So far, no state has taken a lead in that regard, but someday this issue would also come and maybe we shall be debating it. I think let us read national education policy objectively. Let's keep the politicians out and politics out of that and see things on
merit. That possible? Is that possible? Because the way this is being implemented and interpreted in states, across states, is by political parties and politically elected governments who definitely seem to be in the either which spectrum depending upon their ideology and belief. So if you're saying let us enforce it, implement it without politics, is that a possibility? Very quickly.
No. Politics pervade all aspects of our life. I don't mean that. You see, all these problems are arising because things are not being discussed. Had this policy document been discussed in the Central Advisory Board of Education, where not only the education ministers of all states are represented, but they are also experts. I think if you discuss in detail, some solution would come by and a consensus opinion would emerge. The problem is that we are not trying to talk to each other, rather we are trying to talk at each other, and therefore we are imposing one thing after another and creating problems. I think so long as these things go on, education would remain in limbo and the children...
One more question. Mr. Qamar, one question. I want to ask you, is CBSE putting a nail to its own coffin? Why I'm asking you this question? At a time when boards, including several other boards, including IB and so on and so forth, are literally taking a grip of metros and several other cities across the country, is the CBSE making a mockery out of children who literally believe in a system? Not just children, but also their parents. Are we making a mockery of education?
I would say so, but like in an earlier debate, I had said that nobody here mentioned that these decisions should have been taken by an autonomous body. NCERT is an autonomous body, but the sad part is that this body also tries to do what its masters want it to do. That is where the problem is. In fact, I appreciate this language committee in Maharashtra,
Okay.
which pointed out the reasons that why this decision of imposing Hindi and teaching it mandatorily may not be a good decision, may not be a bad decision. I think there should be
And it takes courage.
after all, it's a national education policy and there has to be a national consensus. Remove the bad part, keep the good parts, and
All right,
lead
sir.
it in a very sincere and honest manner.
Okay.